1, 2, 3. Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Let's go. Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today we're outside doing a little bit of a unique review. This one's specifically for parents with kids. Are there parents without kids? I don't think so. But this is for parents. This is the SwingSesh, particularly the SuperSesh. This is the best fitness playset, possibly because it's the only fitness playset. This is designed for people that want to work out outside while hanging out with their kids, basically training at the same time. I had two things I was looking for. One, I wanted a playset. Most playsets you look at, if you look online, they're made of wood or really cheap metal, or you can go to the commercial end, which are more than double or triple the price and really kind of hard to order online, you can't do it. Or you go the cheap end, like the Costco route, which isn't necessarily cheap, but you're gonna have to deal with them breaking, you're gonna have to paint them, stain them, all that sort of thing. This is a nice in between, but the second thing I wanted was I wanted a place I could actually work out outside. I used to have a rack over in front of my garage, got kind of annoying and in the way, so this one combines the ability to have a full play set with all sorts of things that I'll go through in a platform. Specifically, the coating on the metal is 70 plus years rated, and the metal that's used in many of the parts is 7-gauge steel that could last for a long time, be safe, and I could actually train out here while my kids are getting their workouts, which they call play as well. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so one thing of note, SwingSesh did send this so I could give my honest take, my honest review. That's what I'm gonna do. Also, if you'd like to purchase it, we'll put some links below the like button. They'll pay us a small commission, won't increase the cost that you pay, but does go back to supporting us. Okay, so I'll start with the fitness aspect. This, as you can see, the base, the front part is designed to be a squat rack. I got a little bit of a unique part here in that it can also do a climbing rope. They make these so they're completely modular. So they start from what they call their simple sesh and go all the way up to this, which is their SuperSesh, and there's all types of builds throughout. One of the cool things though is you don't ever have to get rid of anything, you just build onto it and you can buy the parts separate and over time build up. So if people, for instance, the guy who started is a former military member and he traveled all the time. And so having to buy a swing set, every time he moved, he had to sell it. This one, you can actually, it's fully modular, take down, build back up, and then add on over time. But I think the front and center, from a fitness standpoint, is the squat rack. So they're using 2.5 by 2.5 true USA made uprights. These actually have 1-inch holes and then use 7-gauge steel. These things are freaking heavy. One reason he said that they went with 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch instead of 3 inch by 3 inches, which is what most companies are using, is because one, he's using 7-gauge steel. That was a huge importance. If you made it 3 inch by 3 inch, not only would it be way more expensive, but it'd also be way heavier. In addition to that, most of the accessories that are made for 3 inch by 3 inch aren't made to be used around kids and also aren't made to be outside. One of the most unique features about this is it's designed to be as safe as possible, but also as corrosion resistant as possible. So for instance, the coating that's on here, it's a gummy coating. It's not like what you see with most powder coat, and it actually does both the outside and the inside. So if you look inside the holes, it's almost as if they dipped it. I don't know how they do it. He wouldn't tell me, it's proprietary, but they either dip it or they spray on the inside. So it's coated both on the inside and the outside, which most rack uprights are not. But the coating is like this kind of soft texture coating that's gummy. He actually sent me some. If there's ever any marking, you can actually heat it up and apply it. So it basically, if there's ever any marks or anything, you can repair it. But the rating on this is for 70 plus years. It's used in industrial applications and will last a long time. The other thing is like some of the safety features. So these are the safety bars that you use when you're squatting. But one of the unique things about these and also the J-cups is they have latches. So most rack attachments are not designed necessarily to be used around kids and definitely not designed to be used on play sets. So they kind of tried to think through every part of this. So you could unlatch this, twist it and take it out and then place it back in and then lock it in. And you don't have to worry about your kids hitting it and knocking it off and getting hit with it. So you have the squat rack, you also have climbing rope. This comes in multiple options. You can actually have another cross member. It's fully modular, so you could have a cross member come off with more uprights. I had that originally, but honestly, for the type of training I'm doing outside, I really like it like this. The owner, who is actually quite fit, this is the only place that he trains at his house. He doesn't even have a garage gym. This is his garage gym. And I think if you're used to minimal type training, you could legitimately use this as your home gym. Just understand you're gonna be using a lot of body weight or just barbell movements. One thing that I know I'm gonna get questions on is the pad. You could obviously put rubber flooring down or concrete. Concrete, like my kids are on this a lot of times and they fall all the time. But the padding, I actually did a sheet mulching. So there's gonna be many armchair quarterbacks that are gonna tell me that's a bad idea. I've done it before, works fine. Basically you put cardboard down and then you put mulch over the top and then you put some sort of preen or something on top, basically to suppress the weeds. This is a lot of freaking mulch and it will compress over time. Now, will it compress while I'm squatting? In the beginning it has, but over time it will compress more and more to the point that there's gonna be hardly any compression. And there are so many people out there that squat with running shoes and are okay. I'm not really worried about the biomechanics of my left heel being slightly lower than my right every once in a while. But if you are, you can make your pad so it's perfect. You have the squat rack, the climbing rope, but it's also designed for other things. So a few of those are the box jumps. From the base, now I built up with the mulch, but from the base, this has the opportunity to do 20, 24, and 30-inch box jumps. These are extremely solid platforms. There's no like very little shaking or worry about things breaking, especially when kids are on it. It's designed to have a lot of kids, and I've had many kids on them. These are designed for dip handles and are, again, very solid. You can use them for ring rows and things like that too. In addition to that, you have monkey bars. So monkey bars are great for kids, but also for adults. Oh, they're fun. Then you have pull-up bars. So you have the ability, honestly, a lot of this is situated more towards cross training. So people that are doing CrossFit or more bodyweight movements. So you can do a lot of those things on this. It's designed almost as a rig. So for this, you can do pull-ups. You can put some on the front, some on the sides. Again, it's fully modular, just like a normal squat rack. This is a climbing rope that I have in the middle where you can go all the way to the top. No big deal. Now, in addition to that, they're making accessories that are designed for the rack. They have more forthcoming, but they're designed specifically to be used on the rack outside. One of them is a Landmine. Landmine is probably one of the most versatile attachments you can have for your rack, also one of the cheapest, but it's not just a normal landmine. It's using the same coating they're using on the rest of the rack. Also, there's some unique features they put into the swing set that you can also use for working out. One of them is they made these so you can put your hands around them and then use them for ab rollouts due to them being fully rigid. So there it is from an exercise standpoint. From a playset standpoint, let me show you what it does. So this is, I would say, primarily for my kids, as it seems like every purchase I make now is. It's like I get the secondary benefits from it, but I guess that's okay. But this is designed to be used like any other playset. So monkey bars, obviously, climbing ladders, all of this is both UV rated to be very strong outside, but also grippy so kids aren't falling all over the place. Also, the corners are pretty much all rounded. So like not the greatest box jump platform because it's metal, but the coating definitely softens the blow, and because it's somewhat rounded and not just a fully sharp edge, it doesn't hurt as bad. In addition to that, you have this swing set, and then on the back, there's a massive roto molded slide. Everything on this is like just very nicely built. This is designed to be around a long time. I know a lot of people when they're looking at a swing set, they're like, I want something that's gonna last for my kids. Maybe you want to have grandkids someday and you want to use it for them. This is one of those swing sets. A lot of swing sets out there that I was looking at, they don't have quite the durability of this. This slide is actually roto molded just like a Yeti cooler. So it's double walled and just designed to be around forever. And then lastly, they're throwing in some like unique kid features. One thing I told them was like, I think you need more like little kid functions for imagination. These up here are two options that they've just come out with. One is a ship steering wheel and one of it is a telescope. The most fun that kids have with the playsets is pretending to be something they're not. It's having imagination. And so items like that just, I think, fuel their imagination and allow them to have fun. Now, one of the questions I know I'm gonna get is how's this thing stabilized? I'll show you. So before I assembled it, it comes on a huge truck with a massive pallet. They had it all stacked. It's actually a custom pallet that was all stacked and it had sides all over. It was actually unfortunately so big that we had to hand pull it off the truck. The guy didn't have a big enough jack and he was unwilling to help me in many ways. So I pretty much had to unload it, mostly myself. He helped a little bit. But then once I got it all off the truck, I was then able to unwrap it. One of the things that was pretty cool is they have it in the box, but every piece is like individually wrapped and then in layers. So it's like the likelihood of having a ton of dings and scratches is pretty low. I did have some that had a little bit of dings. He sent me powder coat that I could put over the top, but the reason was because the jack he was using, the guy ended up going through the pallet and breaking through. I think for most people, you would have no issues. So on each of the uprights, they're using yard spikes. These things are ridiculous. They're made of aluminum. The way these work is they have holes in the bottom of each upright. They go in and then there's basically a square screw right there. I used an impact driver and they go all the way into the ground. So this just screws all the way into the ground. Before I put these up, this thing's really heavy. I mean, it's 7-gauge steel on a lot of the uprights or 11-gauge steel. I mean, it's just very thick tubing that's gonna last a long time, which leads to a lot of stability. But before I had these in, the swing set, for instance, would move when the kids were on it. Once I put these in, I mean, this thing is just rock freaking solid. So the kids are able to play on it, no problem. I'm able to lift as much weight as I want on it, no problem, and everybody's happy and safe. Okay, now to some overall critiques. Number one, this thing is expensive. Like, it starts, one of the cool things is it starts small and you can build over time. So they started as what they call their SwingSesh, which is just a basic kind of squat rack with a platform on it. And over time you can add all this stuff on it. And it's always infinitely modular, both forwards and backwards, and it can be broke down and taken away. All the hardware is either bright zinc or stainless. They're also using the coating that's good on both the outside and the inside. It's just very high quality, but that comes with a cost. So the base option is around $3,200 and can go all the way up to 10 grand or more, depending on how many options, because you can really, like, you can just keep adding racks on here. You can add more swings. You can add just a crazy long monkey bars. There's really not anything else on the market that I've seen that's like it. There's commercial options that are way more expensive, but something that you can buy for your home that also can be used for fitness. There's really not much else out there. Now I know people are gonna be like, man, that's super expensive, and it is if that's too much for you. This obviously is not the thing you should be looking at. You can go to Costco and get something for way cheaper that's gonna have a lot of similar functionality. The thing is, you're just gonna have to keep up with maintenance, and it's not designed to be used as a squat rack. I can't really compare the value on this because it's different than anything else that's out there. So my critique is obviously it's expensive, but when I say it's expensive, I'm comparing that to things that are made of wood, much different materials that are imported and not designed to be used in this way. So because there's nothing else to compare to, I really like the value. Like, I'm willing to spend for safety for my kids, the ability to work out, and also something that's gonna last a long time. This kind of fits that bill. One other thing is the assembly. This is not the easiest thing to assemble. You have to build the pad and then you have to assemble it. It's not like crazy hard to assemble. If you've ever assembled a squat rack, you could definitely assemble this. You just have to understand, you're probably gonna wanna have multiple people when you put it together, preferably not children. I had my children help and it just didn't go too great. So then you have the experience. Like, I've had my kids say many times, like, this thing is amazing.
We had the best park ever.
And they're constantly telling their friends, hey, do you want to come over and play on our swing set? We have kids from the neighborhood that come down. It's really fun just to have it in the backyard, and the ability, if I want to come out here and work out while they're doing it, which right now is the perfect time to do it, work out while they're playing on it too. It's super fun. I think it's one of the benefits of having a home gym is being able to have your kids come out and work out with you. This is kind of the opposite of that. You're coming out with them in kind of their domain and you're working out with them. My kids love it, and it's probably something literally, I mean, I don't plan to get rid of it for another 70 plus years. I don't want kids for 70 plus years. I don't know what I'll do.
All right, Ez, what's your favorite part of the park?
Swinging on the rope.
Ooh, nice, okay. Ezra, does Daddy even lift?
No.
What? Come on.
What do your friends say when they see this place?
Wow!
Yeah, that's right. When I built it, what was your reaction?
Screaming.
Screaming. You guys were excited, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for you parents, is the cost of this just completely overwhelming, or is training with your kids while they're playing, is that something that you'd also be into? Let me know in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.